Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
And I'm Noah.
Hey! We didn't rehearse that. But yeah, I've got a special guest, Noah. Mr. Noah Reno is stepping in for Justin, who is off fighting dragons. Targaryen dragons? I don't know, maybe. But
No, I'm not there in the story yet. I don't know if do the dragon's eggs hatch? She just got the dragon eggs. I would like no spoilers, please, for this show that's a decade old. Thank you.
What do eggs do, Noah?
Well, the guy in the story said that they've been turned to stone. So as far as I'm concerned, stone doesn't turn into dragons.
I mean, that's alchemy laws right there. So I've watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I understand how that works.
Turns into dragons.
So
I think is how alchemy works.
That's cool. Well, regardless, Justin's out for this episode, but thankfully, and God bless him, Noah has kindly, he is bullied into joining me.
The resident substitute host.
Yes, it's always
so we're
good.
We're just gonna put on a movie for the podcast.
We're gonna shit all over it. It was so good. I'm so happy to have you here because we've got lots of good stuff to talk about. Noah's kind of our resident game expert. He's got all the gaming news. I often turn to him to be like, what's going on in the gaming world? And he's going to give us an update on that. Plus, we've got some other fun stuff to talk about, which I'm super excited about. But before we do that, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, get this stuff out of the way. You know what it is, y'all. You know what you got to do. Check us out, youtube.com/mindgappodcast. Like and subscribe. We need you. And it's free. It costs you nothing. We're up to 204 subscribers. We've surpassed 200 and we've held it. My biggest fear is that I'd be like, we hit 200 subscribers and then we'd lose some because it happens. People are like, I'm good. I don't need to subscribe to these jack-offs anymore. And fortunately, we've held that level and we're slowly increasing. So if you like what you see here, if you like it and you want to support us, it's absolutely free. Hit the subscribe button. Like the episodes. It means a lot to us. Be sure to check us out on all our social media at Mind Gap Podcast. You can check out our Discord channel, link down below. Come hang out with all of us. Noah's there. Zinni's there. Slotty's there. Wolf's there. Tint's there. Emilio's there. All good people. Jervis is there. All good folks. You can come hang out with us, chat with us about different silly stuff. You can set up game nights, which, by the way, if you're listening to this on the audio, thank you for doing that. You can check us out live on Twitch Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. And I also host a video game night on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Haven't been doing that a lot lately because I've had some schedule conflicts. But this Saturday, it's happening. It's happening, y'all. We are going to do my first ever Minecraft stream, which I'm actually really excited for. Slotty has set up a server, and I've played, I don't know, I think I could maybe roughly guess 4 hours of Minecraft. Maybe more, maybe 6, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think it's been pretty minimal, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So this should be a lot of fun to go in there with the likes of some other really cool people, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to fuck around and find out, as they say. So very much excited for that. So that's this Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. That's Saturday, August 27th. So come check us out for that. And what else do I normally talk about in all this? I should have this down. Oh yeah, Patreon. If you have money and you want to give it to us, patreon.com/mindgappodcast, or check out our merch at redbubble.com. And that, as they say, is that. Now I would like to take a moment and turn to our chat. Zinni said she had a pee story, and I think it's important that we talk about the pee story on the actual recorded episode. So she said, I dreamt last night that I had to piss like a racehorse, and it was like a huge volume of pee. I knew it wasn't in the real world. It was my body telling me to pee. That is what you call self-control.
But if you did pee, like imagine. That'd be crazy.
Right?
If you had to pee as much as a horse.
That's a lot of pee, man. I rode a horse recently, and those horses pee a lot. They've got a lot going on.
Shit,
Have
I
you ever
peed
had
on a
those
horse.
dreams, like as an adult, where you're like, oh man, I gotta go pee, and you wake up, you're like, geez, I
No.
really do have to pee.
I did as a kid, but I haven't really as an. I've had dreams where I've had to pee, but then I woke up and I was fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've had them like relatively recently where I just remember I was wherever I'm going, it's like just the most disgusting bathroom. It's either they're all full or they're just absolutely repulsive, just disgusting. Just like you go into like I'll go into the stall and it's just like a pile of shit that people have just like. Which actually happened, by the way, in college, my freshman year. I heard a story of a floor full of just absolute monster men who decided that one of the stalls was going to be the poop stall. And what they did is they all just agreed that they would just poop but never flush. So they just would go in and they just kept pooping and pooping and pooping until like the amount of poop started coming up out of the toilet. So they couldn't even sit on the seat. They would just like sort of squat over it, poop, and then go away. And it was just fucking makes me hate men.
That sucks.
That movie Men by A24, that's what actually what that was based on. It's based on
That's
a true
what it's
story.
about?
Yeah. It's a bunch of
toilet,
dudes dumping in one toilet and not flushing. And what happens in that situation at my school was they basically bill the entire floor. So at the end of the year, all the stupid shit that you do comes out, like you have to pay for it. It just gets spread across. And I know at one point they had done so much stupid shit that I think all of them were forking over like $400 because of all the shit they had to do to clean that up. And I was like, you guys are fucking the goddamn worst.
That sucks.
Hey, anyone who went to Augustana College the year 2000, 2001, 2005, hit me up. Hit me up if you remember that story.
I got words.
Whew, boy, if you're one of those guys, fuck you. Fuck you, sir.
Jeez.
You monster. Anyway, I dream about that sort of situation and I can't go. And then I wake up, I'm like, I have to pee. I'm glad I didn't go to that monster stall in my dream. That's Sonic goes, you ever seen that shit pile from the Triceratops in Jurassic Park?
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
I don't know. Should I make that the short for this week? I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
Maybe.
I'll hashtag Augustana College. I'm sure they'll love that one, you know?
We'll see if there's any more content for the rest of this episode, because there very well may not be.
We'll see.
We already have a clip of me yelling about Overwatch. I guess we don't probably need two.
Sure we do. We could always use more Overwatch in our lives. The world needs more heroes.
Needs more heroes.
So real quick question. I want to pose this to you. You are a man of food and cooking.
I am a man of food.
And I got in a little bit of a debate with my wife over the weekend. Okay. We had some friends come over, some family, and I cooked a whole bunch of food. I cooked 3 racks of ribs. I cooked like 7 pounds of pork butt. I made some very delicious cookies, some focaccia. That's all, you know, whatever. I'm just bragging. Also made some homemade ice cream. It was really good. But, so we were I was cooking, I guess it does matter. I was cooking all this stuff and I was occupying a lot of like, you know, utensils and things like that. And I was ready, like, Jill's like, what are we gonna do with the pork? I'm like, well, I'm going to shred it up. And she's like, yeah, but where are you going to put it when you're done? And I just was like, I don't know. How about we use this like big old plastic bowl? I was like, we can shred it up and put it in the bowl. And she goes, no, that's weird. And I was like, why is it weird? It's a vessel to hold the food. We can put it in there. I'll shred up and put it in the bowl and people can just get tongs and pull the bowl. She goes, no, that's weird. It should go in a pan. And I want to get your initial reaction because Practical Doug has a response to this. And this goes out to everyone as well. It goes out to the chat. It goes out to the listeners. If you have thoughts, we posted this as a story on our Instagram to get people's thoughts on it. But I would like to get your thoughts. Is it weird to put pulled pork in a bowl?
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, a bowl is meant to have food put in it, right? So I mean, I'm thinking if I was at like a family reunion or if I was at like a church luncheon or something, and there was a bowl of pulled pork or barbecue pork or something, I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't consider it a strange thing at all.
Right.
I would not think about it at all. I would just see it. I'd be like, I'm going to take some of that and I'd move on.
Right. Now, so first of all, thank you for agreeing with me. Jill would say that because you're a man, that's why you answered that question. And she would probably want to speak to Hannah to get her thoughts on it. Because I called Justin on FaceTime and he's like, I don't see the ground. This goes, I know, because you're a man, and that's why you think it's okay. So here's where Practical Doug weighs in. Practical Doug says, if you want to keep it warm, some sort of foil pan, cover it up. You want to maintain that heat. I get it. But just for the sheer sake of serving, what are we going to eat this pork out of? She goes, no. Chips go in a bowl. Pulled pork doesn't go in a bowl. And I was like, listen, you ever had a Chipotle bowl? Huh? You ever had that? Apparently Papa John's is going to do a Papa John's bowl where they're just not even going to put dough. They're just going to put pizza toppings and stuff into a bowl.
Fuck that. I can't deal with Papa John's anymore. But
they hurt you?
I'm thinking, yes, so much. I just can't.
So much pain.
Well, not me actually specifically, but I remember just being in high school and going over to my friend's house who was celiac. And we'd be like, well, it's your house, so you're buying the fucking pizza, dude.
Oh, no.
he couldn't fucking eat it. That shit sucks. I feel so bad for doing that, but we did do it quite a bit because his basement was the coolest.
So really what you're feeling when you hear Papa John's is you're hearing your guilt of making your friends eat pizza. So
there's a lot of guilt surrounding the Papa John's franchise.
Yeah, as there should be. For anyone who's not familiar with celiac disease, it basically means you can't have bread. Or gluten is really what it is. My favorite thing is I just typed in celiac disease and there's a picture of a woman holding herself like this, and there's x-rays of her tummy or drawings of her tummy. She's like, I'm going to shit myself if I eat this. So, yeah.
But no, back to when I picture a bowl of something, either if it's aluminum or it's clear, I'm thinking, okay, unless it's specifically a punch bowl, if it's big enough to hold any number of food, it could be fruit, it could be chips, it could be sauce, it could be salad, it could be anything. So because it varies, because bowls aren't down to a specific thing, I think putting meat in a bowl is fine.
I agree. That's how I feel about it. Is it the most ideal way to present it? Probably not, right? Especially again if you're concerned about maintaining heat,
Especially, I think it even fits a little bit more if you have a bowl right next to it with mac and cheese in it, because that's synonymous for me as having a big glass bowl of mac and cheese at a family function. So that if there's a big glass bowl of meat right next to it, then that's completely fine.
Yeah, interesting. So Slotty says pulled pork, to my knowledge, doesn't have a designated serving dish. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. He says, though it's likely best in one of those giant aluminum deep grilling pans. Agreed. Again, if you're trying to keep it warm, right, you want to heat it up again, you put some aluminum foil on top, you keep all that stuff trapped in there. That makes sense. I totally get that. But for the sake of this pork probably isn't going to survive the meal of 15 people, throw it in a goddamn bowl. Nobody cares. Again, because the question is it weird? And I think the answer is no. So, Jill, you've heard it here. It's not weird. Anyone else have some thoughts? Sound off in the comments. Let us know on our social medias. Is it weird? I beg to differ.
At the end of the day, the designated serving dish is my mouth.
That's right.
And that's where it's going to go.
That's right. Amelia says, if I was having new people over the house, I would use a foil pan to keep it warm. If it's family, I'm using a bowl. Y'all ain't special. Amen, brother. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Well, thank you for helping me clear that up. I was like, absolutely. I got to get Noah's perspective because I feel like he's going to give me the real deal here. So last time we had you on, gave a really great update on Overwatch 2. And the update was this game is never coming out. So, I believe there's been some updates in that area.
There has been a bit of an update. The game is coming out soon. In 42 days, on August 4th, a little over a month away, Overwatch 2 is seeing its release.
Nice.
Which blows my mind. Because I didn't know at the point of recording the last podcast I was on if it was going to happen.
By the way, the last time you were on was episode 315, which honestly, pretty damn close to a year.
Oh shoot, yeah.
because this is episode 360. So
yeah,
holy shit.
it's God.
It's been a year,
I'm
huh?
so happy. I'm just so happy that the game is coming out. I really am, because I was cautious at the time to get excited for it because I didn't know when it was coming. But there's been so much that has happened since. There's been 2 live betas. There's been a lot of news drops. The game has been the developers have been very vocal with us and communicative with the community. They did a full turnaround from the last time we talked about it. And now the game is very close to coming out. This is to say that the full game is not coming out, just the multiplayer, which does not include the single player / co-op campaign that kind of constitutes what Overwatch 2 is, or the reason why they are making a 2 instead of it just being an update, which could maybe not come out until 2023, 2020, late 2023, maybe even 2024.
But I mean, if we're being honest, it's releasing a Call of Duty game, and people are like, "Hey, man, can you make sure that the single player's in there?" Nobody gives a shit. People are in it for the multiplayer. So I think this is a smart move.
Yeah.
Release the multiplayer, and the other stuff will come later.
Yeah, and the multiplayer is big. At the time of speaking, if we're not including the betas, we know that, or all of that new content that is going to be in the game at launch is 3 new characters, 6 new maps, a new game mode, redesigns on every single character in the game from Overwatch 1, hundreds of new 100 plus new skins, as well as a battle pass system, microtransactions, etc., because the game is going to be free to play, which is very interesting that they're doing that. It makes sense, because the game for the last 4 years, I guess, that it's been out, 5 years that it's been out, you've been able to pretty consistently pick it up for around $10 to $20, and then you never have to spend money on it again. And people who bought the game at that buy-in price of $10 have every single skin in the game. So that kind of way of monetization just isn't profitable anymore. It just hasn't been for a while. I'm assuming that's why they started to work on the second game. It was great that they gave us all the content in the game for free with the release of the game, but they just weren't making money doing it. So it makes sense that they're going to this free-to-play battle pass weekly rotating shop model, as disappointing as it is.
Yeah, I microtransactions always rub me the wrong way, but as long as it doesn't halt any sort of progress, I'll tolerate it. Because I've heard that, I guess, from that Diablo mobile game, that some of your progress was halted unless you did the loot box stuff, which is just basically, hey, pay for the slot machine.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, the things that they've said about it, at least, are that the game itself is not changing. I mean, the multiplayer is staying the same. There are some things that are different, they're removing your level from the game. So right now I'm level 600 in the game, but that's going away. So there is no numerical value to you have in the game. That's just gone, which is fine. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
They are changing the competitive system a little bit. We don't really know the changes that they're making to the competitive system, but we also know that they're adding sort of an MMR, a hidden MMR to the casual mode, so you're still playing with people at your level even in the casual game mode, which I think is really good. I think that rubs people some the wrong way, because people hate skill-based matchmaking in games like that. But
why do people hate that? What's their beef with that?
I'm not so sure. It always sounds like a good thing to me, but then people are always complaining about it, because I guess you could get a really good game, you move up a couple points on the totem pole, and then you're in with people that are just substantially better than you. And then you just lose a couple games, and then you get down to a level where you're playing with people that you are much better than, and then you climb a little bit, and then you get in with people that are just way better, and it's just a cycle, and you're never playing with people at your actual level if it's not implemented properly.
That's fair. I never do competitive or ranked stuff. I have zero desire to deal with tryhards. I'm like, quick match all day long. I don't need to test my mettle. I'm gonna be 40. Like I don't care. I just want to play the game and have fun with my friends.
I am excited for the revamped competitive. I'm just excited for the game. We have put in, just me in my stack, my team. We have put in a lot of time in Overwatch.
Yeah.
For the last, like this season specifically is probably the most Overwatch I've played since the game's release, and I'm having a great time. Like, I am having a lot of fun with it, but I'm really, really excited for it to get this update because I think it needs it. I mean, the game has been in a content drought for so long. I mean, it's starting to feel like I don't remember what it was before getting new content added to the game.
I mean, because this game originally came out in 2015, right?
Early 2016.
Early 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 6 years. And would you argue like the last 3 years there's been a content drought, more or less?
Yeah, the last character was released in 2019, and then they've released 2 deathmatch maps, which is not a game mode that I play. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I gotta say, like, also, Ryan Passiony's saying, shout out Team Water Cooler Gang, the most I've played at any single game within a month, other than maybe Civ 5. I've been you all have been kind enough to let me join in from time to time, and I have had so much fun playing that with you all. I'm like, wow, a squad of 6. This is awesome. It's so nice just to, because also you're very gentle. Because I'm like, I don't know, I'm not as good as you all are. Like, and I just sort of.
It's such a unique experience to play a game like that with people, like with friends. Definitely not playing it alone, even beyond just like a duo queue or even a triple queue, but playing with a full team, getting full communication, and people who actually care about the game and really do enjoy playing it like we do. We have gotten like the full experience from the game from the times that I have played the game solo, like when it first came out. I played that game completely by myself.
Same.
To me and Alpaca Lunch, we used to just duo that game, and we ranked fairly high when we were playing that game competitively, just the 2 of us. And then in the last year or so, we've gotten more people added to the group and stuff, and we've been able to play the game as a 5 stack or a 6 stack. And it's like each of those experiences is vastly different, but it's just been a really, really good time to play that game and just be able to communicate and like treat it like a sport almost. Treat it as
like you go to the court with play pickup games, with other people. Well, you got your squad together. Yeah, dude, I remember grinding out Overwatch by myself. Like, and I mean, honestly, I enjoyed it, but there was also a part of me that felt very empty, as I was like, this would be fun to play with some other friends. It would be great, because at the time my brother was like, I've got more friends on the console, so I'm gonna go play it on console. And I was like, oh man.
Well, that's an amazing thing now, is that there is not only cross play, but there's cross progression now. So all of your accounts are going to be merged into one account, and you can play with people on PlayStation, on Switch, on Xbox, on PC, which I think is good. I mean, they did have cross play. They added that in the last year. Crossplay has been added to the game, but it hasn't been a substantial change. But with the added benefit of cross progression, if I wanted to go play a game on my Switch, if I'm in Michigan visiting my parents, I can still play with my friends, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And still like squad up and keep it going, keep the grind going.
Is there an advantage? Because I know in the past, like, consoles would have like auto aim and things of that nature, or tracking and things like that. Is that still a thing that happens with console versus PC gaming? Because I used to hear that PC gamers were more elite, not to throw out any sort of like, not to gaslight anybody, but that's the rumor, is that the PC people are more powerful because of their ability to use a mouse.
The console games still do tend to have auto aim. That was a big point of contention in Apex, because even if you just plugged in a controller, you would gain access to auto aim, or just like the aim assist, not auto aim, but aim assist. Overwatch, I'm not so sure. I know it doesn't have it on PC, but I'm not sure what the console situation is. I haven't played the game on console in a very, very long time. I think generally it just is like you can be really good on gamepad. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are better at the game than I am, if like on gamepad than I am on mouse and keyboard. But 9 times out of 10, just having like the function of the mouse, it's just
makes more accuracy.
You can hone it. You can hone it better to your specific like flick or movement or tracking.
I'm so bad with console, like with controllers, man. I have not. I need to get one for my computer to play games like, you know, Ultimate Chicken Horse, which I continue to use keyboard for. But I'm no good with them. Like I might take that back. First person shooters terrible with the joysticks and everything. I cannot aim to save my life. I'm just like terrible, absolutely terrible. Although I have to say, obviously, flying in those kinds, like with those, it makes it a lot easier with the gamepad and things like that. But I'm like, the days I literally was like, I should go get, you know, when we're playing Ultimate Chicken Horse or Stick Fight, I was like, I should go get this is now when I should get a game controller, and I still haven't done it yet. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, I've really lost my touch. I used to be console only, and I've kind of lost that touch where I definitely couldn't pick up a first person shooter and be competent at it. But I have always played like platformers and third person action adventure games and stuff like that on controller because it just feels right. It just always feels better than keyboard and mouse to me. Because I mean, it's like if I'm playing Celeste, which is one of my all-time favorite games, I don't know why I would want WASD and the space bar. I don't want to play the game with one hand. I want to be in it, you know? It's like the mouse has no function in a game like that, so
yeah. As Slotty says, just eat a weed gummy, go silent, and become a Stick Fight pro. If you checked out our Stick Fight stream a couple Saturdays ago, usually Slotty isn't like a huge trash talker, but Slotty, you know, Slotty has some communication things, and Slotty was silent for the most of it, and I kept asking him like, "Hey man, you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm just like, "Okay," because he would just exist. And nothing. Ryan goes, I actually know. He just wasn't saying anything. And like later, I think the next day, I go, he goes, "Hey, was my behavior noticeably different?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah. So I took a weed gummy and it kicked in like way sooner than I thought." And he goes, "I could only focus on one thing at a time, so he couldn't talk and play at the same time." So if you go back and watch that live stream, you'll just notice, like, because Slotty was also the only one that was able to block most of the time. He was like in the Matrix. He could see the code. And he was like,
he was hitting the blocks every time.
I thought like his daughter was nearby or something like that. And he was like kind of half talking to her, so he was on mute or something. But he was just so quiet the whole time. It's because he was stoned out of his mind. I tell you, we stream live on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Central. Come check it out. It'll be good.
Minecraft this week.
Ryan goes, I honestly thought I was late to the stream and he was tired. That's what I thought.
We weren't tired. We were tired by the end of that one.
That was exhausting. Like by the end of that, like it's like playing Magicka, just mentally exhausting. But I know that I'm going to be exhausted on Overwatch by the time the game comes out, or like when the game comes out. I'm going to be streaming it a lot. I know that the day it releases, barring any major server issues, I plan to do like a drunk stream, big celebratory thing, because I just want to play the game. There's all these new characters, all these new maps. I played quite a bit of the first beta that they did, but the second beta happened to coincide with my bachelor party, so I was occupied. I had a bunch of my palos over. And so I didn't get to spend as much time in it as I did the first one, which I think is fine, which I'm actually perfectly okay with, because at this point I'm like, I don't want to play the game if I can't like play the game. I don't need the tease anymore. I'm like ready for the main dish. Yeah.
And it's so soon. It's going by. August went by so fast.
Yeah.
We are like right around the corner.
The release date's October 4th. Like that is almost here. I'm looking forward to it because I don't play Overwatch a lot because it requires, you know, for me, I'm like, I need to play with other people. Occasionally I've hopped on and just played by myself, and I'll just play healer because I'm like, no one can get that mad at you, right? Well, when you're a healer, right? And you're not healing the Genji who's, you know, across the map, you know, just trying to stab people, and they're like, I need healing. I need healing.
Healing.
And you're Mercy. You're like, well, if I fly over there, I'll get killed. But it's like, why aren't you healing? And it's like, this game sucks. No, I'm looking forward to it because I would definitely love to. I'd love to play it again. It's one of those games that I enjoyed, and if there's ever room in the squad, I'd be happy. There's
always room in the squad
to fill in.
So that is the major difference is actually that the game is no longer 6 versus 6. It's now 5 versus 5. They have removed one of the 2 tanks from the game. They took them and they threw them out the window.
Get the fuck out of here.
They said, get the fuck out of here. But Doomfist is a tank now, so that's
Doomfist.
Fun. But I like it. I mean, the time that I've spent in this 5v5 format, I think it's a lot of fun. It really does kind of designate the tank as like the leader, especially which is really nice when we are playing as that 5 stack of just like being like, hey, you are the big guy that doesn't take a lot of damage or that can suck up a lot of damage. You make the calls. You tell us where to go. The team will conglomerate around you, and and we win, and it's great.
Well, it's like they're the percussion section, of the band. Where I remember when I was in band, my band director would say, "Listen, whether the drums are right or wrong, you follow the drums. You have to follow the beat. Like doesn't matter." So it's kind of the same way with the tank here.
Yeah, and it's interesting just to see how things have changed by removing one of the tanks, with the introduction of some of these new characters, which of the 2 characters that we know of, both of them have been incredibly powerful, like meta, and people are using them. People really like them, especially like the competitive, like the professional players, which they said they're going to fix the new tank because she is outrageously powerful right now.
Is that Junker Queen?
That is Junker Queen, who she has an ability that every 10 seconds on a cooldown, she gets half of a Lucio beat, and it affects the entire team. It gives everybody on her team 100 health, and it gives her 200 health, I think. And it immediately decays. So as soon as it's applied, it starts to break down. But still, every 10 seconds, her entire team just gets health. It's fucking awesome. But it's developed a new meta, and everybody in competitive is playing it right now, or everybody in like the league play is playing it right now.
So I literally see the
and it gives them a speed boost. It gives them a speed boost too.
Heal and a speed. Why would you think that's okay? All right. Anyway, who cares? Like whatever. We all make mistakes. Junker Queen to be nerfed in the next Overwatch League patch. Changes also confirmed. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
So I guess from a player standpoint, and maybe if you could put on your designer hat, if you could, like, when the meta, what the fuck am I? Who am I? The meta. When the meta's here, when the meta. Go meta. When you kind of have, is a game broken when it's like you have to play these characters to be successful?
It's not broken. It's just not fun.
What a great response. Not broken, just not fun because
if there's a character that's just objectively better than another one, that's fine, that's okay, but it's not fun when all you can do is play that character or you lose. It's not inherently broken, it's just inherently anti-fun, which is a problem Overwatch has had before with the GOATS meta, which is like 3
that was
healers,
the one where it was like 3
tanks.
tanks, right? Yeah,
and it was just like a rush game where both teams were just like, who can get to the other team faster and hit them harder. And it was the same 6 characters every time, and that was the game for like 2 years, and that's all you could do. And that's the case now, basically, is that all you can do is play these characters because Junker Queen is so strong, and because all these players play at such a high level that their like hit scans are very, very effective. You just hop on this new Sojourn character, which has like a one-shot headshot, and as well as like movement abilities and area of effect abilities, or just like one of the other many characters that can one-shot headshot. And then the rest of your team takes off and beats down the lower health characters, and then the 2 snipers fight each other, and that's the game.
So Sojourn could theoretically one-shot headshot a tank, and that's it?
Not necessarily. So she has a railgun. So it's like her left click is just like a projectile shot that goes, and as she fires it, it builds up her right click, which is a hit scan that does a shit ton of damage.
Gotcha.
If you were to just like say a Roadhog has 600 health, go, okay, I'm going to shoot only at his head, hit every single hot shot on his head. until the railgun is at 100, and then shoot him again, he'd have
dead.
like 100 health left.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah.
Maybe 200, just dependent on.
He basically nuked most of his health away, where he's like, "Ah!" You know, it's scary.
No, that's unlikely to hit just like a million headshots and then another headshot, but it's still just like that is the damage output.
Okay, interesting.
On top of having this hurricane sphere that she can shoot out, and then anybody inside it gets slowed and takes damage over time.
This is gonna be fun to play through all this.
It's awesome. No, it's a lot of fun.
I mean that in a sincere way. Like, I'm excited just because that's kind of what's fun about games like this. It's like first day of a World of Warcraft launch on either of the initial game or a new expansion, because everything is new to everybody. And everyone is in the same space. What sucks is this stage of Overwatch, where people have played it for so long, put in so many hours, that everybody knows everything. There's no surprises. And if you're just starting, it is a brutal landscape to join and be like, I'm here. And people are like, get the fuck out of here. You know, and you're dead. So
that is the two things that is really good about this October 4th launch, is the going free to play. And then outside of the betas, these are considered new characters that nobody's ever played or seen before, including a third character, so we have the tank, the DPS, and a new support character that we know nothing about, other than they have an ability that has a speed boost function. That's all we know.
Fuck you, Lucio.
And so when the game comes out, and hopefully thousands of new people who have never played Overwatch before come in, not only do they get this whole big wide experience that they're sharing with all the people who are just coming into the game for the first time, but we also have all the veterans who are now getting 3 new characters and a bunch of new maps with no pre-established meta, especially after this Junker Queen change. Because yes, she's very strong right now, but we know that she's not going to be when the game comes out. So we have no idea what any of that's going to look like in a month's time when the game comes out.
Yeah, see, that'll be fun because it levels the playing field. It's for everybody. And yeah, the people like you and your squad who have been playing, you guys will adapt really quick, but still the maps are going to be new. You're not going to know the best way to go and the timing and things like that. It'll take about 24 hours, and then everyone, will be up to speed. That's usually how it goes. There's a noticeable difference 24 hours in, where I'll never forget when I was really into World of Warcraft, and when the first expansion came out, Burning Crusade, and you were able to go into the Outworld. And the big thing about that was, like, you could fly at the end. You could get your own flying mount. And I remember, and I was in the starter area and everyone was there. It was really cool. And then, I don't know, maybe 20 hours, 24 hours in, there was a guy that was flying. And you could only do that if you got from level 60 to level 70, had enough money, and then bought the mount. And everyone was like, what the fuck? How did this guy get there? How is he flying? And the guy, they were like... The lore about this guy was that he had lost his job and he didn't give a shit anymore, and all he wanted to do was play this game, and he did for like straight. And he got to level 70 and was just flying over everyone in his eagle, and I was like, what the shit? How? It's like, yeah, he's just playing the game. And then it's like there's definitely a ticking clock in how all the fun and the beauty of it is there for a brief moment, and then it starts turning like, what the fuck, you don't know how to play this map? It's like, dude, it's been a day.
Yeah. Well, and that's the interesting thing about having a battle pass now, is that you don't know, especially because you will likely be able to buy tiers on the battle pass, but you never know.
Can I pause you real quick?
Or not.
I've heard the word battle pass used a lot. I don't think I really know what a battle pass is.
So a battle pass is simply just it's a progression system. So if a game has like a levels or whatever, it's obsolete, it's stupid, it's done. Levels in a video game like a Call of Duty or Overwatch or anything like that, it's obsolete now because it doesn't determine your skill level. Just keep a timer of how long you played the game, and that's enough. Because the battle pass is your new level. It's if you're level 1, you get a little trinket. If you're level 2, you get a spray. If you're level 3, you get a bad skin. And then all the way up to level 100, where you get the ultimate super skin. And hopefully along the way, you get enough currency to get the next battle pass, or half of the currency to get the next battle pass, so that it keeps getting money from you. It is just the way to get to monetize the game. You buy in for $10. If they're done right, then you never have to spend that $10 again if you play the game enough, because it is an incentive to play the game. $10 or $20, you play through this 100 levels. It's XP based, so the more you play the game or the better you play a game, you get more XP, and then you unlock cosmetics. It's oftentimes cosmetics, and sometimes they're the specific game's in-game currency, which can be used to buy other cosmetics, or you put it back into the next battle pass. And that's all it is. It's just a new version of monetization. It's an alternative to loot boxes, where every like 9 weeks or so, they put in a new battle pass, which with 100 new levels of new cosmetics and new whatever. And in Overwatch's case, that's just what they're doing now. So there's weapon charms in the game now that you can equip on individual characters' weapons. So I could put Hanzo's sake bottle on Reinhardt's hammer, or I could put Cassidy's previously McCree's. There's been a name change, I believe, since the last time I was on the podcast.
I think we talked about it last time. Yeah.
He could get his little like cowboy hat badge. And actually, I think I have it over there. But with the gun behind me, you can't see it. That's true. And put that on Sombra's gun or whatever. But there's also new sprays and new skins and all of that, which is just the way they're doing things now. It's the loot box system. It's not working anymore. So as of in 7 days, loot boxes will no longer be purchasable in Overwatch.
Nice.
And by the time the game launches, they will be gone completely.
Nice. I'm okay with getting rid of loot boxes. I never really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
They definitely feel like a slot machine, and slot machines are gross. So,
yeah, it always felt like I have zero self-control, so I spent hundreds of dollars on loot boxes in Overwatch. I likely have spent at least over $200 on loot boxes in Overwatch, so I can say hundreds. It probably isn't more than that, but it probably is close to that.
You know what? Proud of you for being honest and admitting that.
And there is just something about the yellow circle popping up, or the golden thing popping up, as opposed to, it's an addiction. It's gambling. It just is. And I would rather do that and at least have like the thing for this game that I specifically pay or like play a lot than going and spending it at a casino and getting nothing
or money.
Well, but I'd lose the money, and then I'm
not if you bet it all on red. So. There's a 50-50 chance.
That is true. That is just true. That's the thing. I've never been to a casino before. I think I have a tendency to be addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
And Overwatch loot boxes has kind of validated that that belief or that fear. And so I've done it. I've done it a lot, and I'm glad that they're going away because I don't need to do that anymore. Oh, Jesus,
that's all good.
I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I have basically all the skins in the game now, so I'm good. I'm satisfied.
That's good because the game comes out in a month. So I'm glad you finally got everything.
Out in a month. Of course, they still have their monetization, but I bought into that already. They had this. It's called the Watch Point Pass, which is this. It was. The way they talked about it was very poorly done. They did not communicate what it was very well to the audience. What it was to the general public was just beta access to the second beta. But what it actually was is the first battle pass, 2,000 of their in-game currency, which they have confirmed that each battle pass is 1,000 of that in-game currency. So technically 3 battle passes, which is about $30. 2 deluxe skins that are only going to be available through it, whatever. But then you also get Overwatch 1 with it. So if you didn't previously own Overwatch 1, you can buy Overwatch 1, start playing it immediately, and then get 3 of the battle passes for when the game launches.
It's not a bad deal.
For $40, which the game is usually $10. So you're buying it at that reduced $10 price, and you're buying 3 battle passes for when the new game comes out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Which makes sense to me and is fine with me, and I spent the money on it. And whatever. It's fine. I just know that I'm going to be playing the game enough to have it be worth it. If I was only playing the game sometimes, or even if like Fall Guys just started doing this premium battle pass thing. I'm not going to buy the Fall Guys one because I don't play Fall Guys enough. But Overwatch is one of the 3 games that I play consistently that I think that it's already paid for itself, because I know I'm going to put a lot of time into the game over the next year.
There's definitely something to be said where you're like, this is actually kind of worth it. You know, you're like, I spent enough time with this. You're like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool with putting more into this because this is where I spend a lot of my time. I think that makes sense.
It also, in my mind, is just like, okay, I've spent my money on this game. I spent my money on this free game. So if a nice skin pops up in the store or whatever, I'm not going to buy it. I don't need to buy it. I've already put money into the game. I don't know what's going to happen next season. I don't know what's going to be in the next battle pass. I want to keep this currency. I want to keep it in my pocket for this one specific thing. And that's my buy-in into the game.
I think that makes sense. So when this game launches, do you think that, while you're putting in all of that time and all that effort, do you think you're going to run into some intense fighting? Do you think you're going to be maybe perspiring? Do you think maybe you'd be...
I'm showing some signs of being fucking wet!
Do you think that's possible?
No, probably not. No, yeah, I mean, the game is going to be, for the first couple weeks, maybe the first week, I don't think it's going to be all that.
Yeah.
I think there will likely be server issues. I think there will likely be a bunch of new people who have never played the game before who are going to immediately hop into competitive and lose because they've never played the game before. They don't know the characters. Like, they might have aim. They might hop on Soldier 76 and do really well. But, like, all in all, probably not knowing the game as in depth as someone like me might know the game, and so that is likely going to be the case. The hope is that there aren't very many server issues, and the hope is that those people recognize that they're just dog shit at the game, and if they play it a little bit more, they will get better at the game instead of saying this game's too hard, I don't want to play it anymore, and then leave and never play the game again.
Yeah.
Because I think the game's going to be a lot of fun. I think with Blizzard's turnaround and the Microsoft acquisition and the game finally just being out and them trying to make peace with the community again, that all I can hope is that the game is successful and that people want to play it. And people who are not playing it now, who have never played it before, want to play it.
And maybe Blizzard will make the decision to do some sort of, I don't know, animated content based on this world that they built.
Maybe like an anime, like an Overwatch anime.
Yeah. Or just, again,
or just
take a page out of the League of Legends, like they did with Arcane.
Yeah.
Natalie and I just 2 weekends ago went through all of the short films, like the animated shorts from Overwatch. She just was like, can we watch the next one? We just kept watching them because they're good. They're great. They're wonderful content. And, there's this world of lore that is so grossly overlooked, and they keep adding these shorts for new characters. And I'm like, but it doesn't mean anything because this is still just to shoot them up.
That's what the PvE is going to be.
Yeah, hopefully.
The PvE is going to be. The PvE is going to be a big fucking lore dump. And it's going to be living. It's going to be consistent. It's going to keep getting... It's going to be a live service game. Yeah. I mean, they're going to have... I believe what they said is there's going to be like 200 missions in the game in this... I describe it as like Diablo-esque. I don't know if it's actually going to be Diablo-esque. I know it's like... I don't know if there's a hub world or anything, but like you go through and each level is essentially a dungeon crawl that you do with your friends. And there's each character has like a Borderlands style tier or a tree, skill tree. And so you get all these wacky new abilities, like May, when she does her ice block, turns into a snowball and knocks people over like bowling pins. Or Reinhardt's shatter goes in 360 degrees around him, that kind of stuff. And that just kind of happens as you level up your character or whatever. But sorry, but it's like, that's going to be Overwatch 2. That's what Overwatch 2 is. And so I don't know if that's going to be $60. I don't know if that's going to be $30. But I do know that that's where a lot of their development is going. I know that's where a lot of their storytelling is going. I know that's where a lot of like the gameplay development is going. So I hope that's good too. I mean, I will likely buy into that too. I know that is also a way that I could get like my fiance to play with me. It's because she's not so much into the competitive aspect of the game or the PvP aspect of the game, but she likes the characters. She likes the world. And so a potential way for her to get into it is to shoot at robots and just do cool stuff and it not be high stakes or high stress at all.
I agree. I love PvE content, and I love being able to do that, especially in that world, because I mean, everything that came out, because I know Overwatch originally was supposed to be an MMO, and then they changed it and they switched it and they made it to what it is. And it's just got a wealth of fantastic story. And it's just a real shame that if you want the story, you have to go and read it on a wiki somewhere about what's the timeline of things that happened and when. And it's so cool. And again, some of my favorite shorts are, the Genji and Hanzo one, like the brothers one, or the Reinhardt one. You get to see this cocky character and why he is the way that he is today. Hell, even Bastion's one of the most hated characters in the game.
Bastions.
Even his story is really cool.
You have all these factions. You have like so much because you have Talon, Blackwatch, Overwatch. You have the Omnics, which is just like this robot intelligence of like race of people that have gained sentience. You have I can't remember, Null Sector, which is like another enemy team, and then you just have characters that are like doing their own thing. You have the Junkers, which is Australia.
Sorry, Jared.
Sorry, Jared.
Yeah. You've got like
their
Cassidy
whole
and his
thing.
crew, like you've got
the Deadlock Gang. That's the thing that I'm most excited for. Is I really hope that over the next 2 years of the game being out, they release like 1 or 2 more of these Deadlock Gang characters, and they do like dedicated missions for them, because I really like just that cowboy vibe and their whole thing, and I want to know more about them. So I want new stories about all these different individual groups of people, and then I want Avengers style, some of them to come together and do like different interesting stuff. And the way that they're doing this, like kind of as this live service setup, is that they can do that. They can go back and they can add more stories and missions later on down the line. They can make event special occasion missions and stuff, because they're just setting up to do that. At least I hope so. I think so. That's what I'm reading from all this, is that each thing is like going to be its own, like Destiny. They're going to have like their own games, but like they're all part of the same thing. Like when the game comes out, it's going to be about Overwatch getting back together because they split up and stuff. And maybe down the line we might go back and we might get a prequel about the formation of Blackwatch. We might get the stories of the future with a new team, or like whatever. We just don't know. There's endless possibilities now.
It's so again, such a rich world. I mean, we know that Genji is who he is because of the dude Zenyatta. Like Zenyatta was one of the reasons why Zenyatta helped him become who he is, right? And we don't really get to see that explored, Same thing with so many of the other characters where there's this rich, or there was the short with Sombra, and what she was doing with the Russian lady, and she's like blackmailing her, and we're like, but what's to come of that? We don't know
where that goes.
Nobody knows. We just know that Zarya gets included in it. We're like, hey, that's the character that we've been playing for 5 years. She's in this short. It's like, okay, but those are such well animated things. And then you go and watch the show Arcane, which is goddamn incredible. And you look at Blizzard, you're like, what? Why
do this?
Why hasn't someone over there been like, we should make this a goddamn show and start our own Blizzard Activision streaming service? And we'll do that. We'll have World of Warcraft. We'll have StarCraft. And then we'll have them all come together in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. I mean, the World of Warcraft movie was famously a movie that came out.
Oh, that was the movie I went to the theater to see just out of blind loyalty. And I was like, I know. I even bought it on sale for $5. I own it. I watch it and I was like, oh, what could have been here? Again, I think if you love the source material, you love the movie, but you also know deep down it's not a good movie. But damn it, I still watch it from time to time. I'm like, oh, this could have been something.
We can only assume that the D&D movie is going to be the same story, but we can only hope that it's not.
Yeah, right. And then you got Diablo in that world too, right? Like Diablo content.
Diablo content would be big. Overwatch content would be big.
I was just kind of joking about, the Overwatch Plus service, but
love Overwatch.
but that's the thing is, like, Blizzard has games. They don't have a ton of games, but the games that they have been immensely popular. They are pop culture foundational pieces to gaming and everything. You know, you could argue that their relevance in recent years has waned significantly, thanks to Activision. But what they do have out there is profound, and what people have glommed onto and what they've played. And you could argue, I'd say they're wildly successful in what they've done. And I'm willing to bet if you wanted to take some of that stuff and turn it into some sort of additional content, people would eat it up. They would eat it up 100%. In a heartbeat.
I would. Fuck. Shit.
Right? I mean, imagine that. Again, let's just start with, I would say the safest bet would probably be either Warcraft or Overwatch. And I think Overwatch would be most relevant to what's going on now. Do an Overwatch series because there's so many stories to tell. And plus, you've got the voice actors already.
And that's the thing, is that like Arcane is super stylized. It's like its own unique form of animation, but just the Blizzard Overwatch shorts are their own like style and like quality that you could just do an entire show in that same Overwatch 5-minute animated short quality. I'm sure that they are that quality and they're very expensive to make, and that's why they can't make them all that long. But I mean, they gotta be able to pitch it to somebody that'll give them the money to do it.
They can help. Yeah, there's got to be a deal to finance that. I mean, just be like, look at our sales numbers, guys. Like, I argue, I think World of Warcraft is one of the only MMOs out there that still charges a subscription service and is successful. I think EVE Online may be one of the other maybe the only other
Final
one.
Fantasy 14 is pretty hot.
Final Fantasy 14. Those are like the three that exist out there.
Those are the big three of MMOs.
And I would argue that World of Warcraft is the top of those. You tell me that someone couldn't look at the numbers? If people could look at Critical Role numbers and be like, yeah, we should make an Amazon Prime show, you know? Like,
yeah. That would be great. And Amazon Prime is probably the place where it would want to be, just because Amazon has a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Netflix has Arcane, so I don't know if they would go for that kind of similar genre. Hulu is Disney. Disney wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And HBO, they kind of have a thing against animation right now. So.
Yeah, they've kind of canceled a lot of shit.
Canceled a lot of shit.
And I guess we talk about it real quick before we go into the last segment. That was a nice segue. But Warner Brothers is removing so many shows from HBO Max as of late, and it's I've seen it like pop up on Twitter, and unfortunately, it's for a lot of shows that I don't know, I'm not familiar with, but I've seen creators just being like, "Hey, my show is now gone from the platform, removed in its entirety, no longer exists. I've been pouring years of my life into this, and HBO has been like, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya."
Yeah, it sucks. And I do know a lot of these shows. I do frequent a lot of the shows that were taken off because I'm a big animation fan. I really fell in love with animation in college. One of my professors was an animator. And a couple of my professors actually, and that was a lot of my fucking assignment work in college, was watching animation and investing in that content and figuring out how it works from production to release. And God, it's such a bummer that they're just being shit on like this. First, I mean, earlier in the year it was the Oscars saying like animation's for kids or big for babies, and
I tell you, that and the whole bullshit of like, if someone isn't physically on screen, like an Andy Serkis or someone like that, you know, they're like, oh, it's CG, they're not really acting. It's like, what do you guys think we're doing? All right, this isn't someone with a sock puppet, okay? This is someone physically acting this shit out, and you can't even give them props. Go fuck you.
Yeah, but like Infinity Train is a very big loss. I think that's like one of my all times. Like, it's just such a fucking fantastic show. like 1 or 2 of the seasons are stinkers. Season 1 is great. You could debate that like season 3 and 4 have their ups and their downs, whatever. But it's all in all, it's a fucking fantastic show. Very great premise. HBO acquired that show because it got canceled by Cartoon Network, and then they just let the creators make the show they wanted to make. Like they just continued to let them make that show, and it was good. It was great. Like, and they were gonna do a movie and like a whole bunch of other shit, and it just isn't going to happen, it seems like. On top of, I'm seeing Close Enough, which was the creator of Regular Show. That was his series that he made after Regular Show is just gone. A bunch of Cartoon Network shows, Mau, Heroes of Pure Heart, Mighty Magiswords, OKKO, Uncle Grandpa, Victor and Valentino. All for the most part, Uncle Grandpa, I was like, that show came out past my time. I was like, I'm not into it. But I know people love OKKO and Mighty Magiswords. So it's like that's the only place that you can watch them. But it's going beyond just removing them from this streaming platform. From what I understand, like the pilot of Infinity Train has been removed from YouTube, and they're going back and retroactively removing tweets on the subject of like a lot of these shows. They are now like selling the rights to different movies, or at least just throwing out the rights to different properties and stuff. Like The Amazing World of Gumball is another one that had a movie in production that is now apparently just going to be streamed on some free whatever service because they just want to get the fucking movie out. And apparently they got rid of like a couple hundred episodes of Sesame Street, and they took that, or they're at least canceling Elmo's like late show, which I have heard is like successful. So I just don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what's happening here.
There's a lot of stuff. There was an animated show that J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves were like kind of like co-creating that basically got shit canned. I'm reading an article from Pajiba. Not familiar with this site, but written by Kaylee Donaldson, and one of her things she mentions that CNBC has estimated that this mass exodus of content will save Warner Brothers Discovery some tens of millions of dollars. That's a drop in the ocean compared to the $3 billion that Zaslav, which is the current CEO, says he wants to save by 2023. So, and she goes on to say he's not earning those pennies by cutting his own impressive salary. He's doing it by hurting those who are already struggling to get off the bottom rungs of the ladder. In that sense, it's business as usual for Hollywood, but the chances of true success seem slim. You're not Disney. People aren't slavishly loyal to your brand. They'll cut HBO Max before they unsubscribe from Disney Plus or Netflix. But as Warner Brothers Discovery and their infinite wisdom has shown us, they don't really care about the whims of people not earning 8-figure salaries.
Yeah. And that's just talking monetary, that it sucks for these creators because they are, we briefly talked about it in the production meeting, but they aren't getting royalties from these shows. Like the streaming of these shows, they weren't making the money that the shows made them on the streaming services. The unions that they are in was making that money. And so they are directly taking from like their healthcare and their benefits and all of the things that they require to keep their families safe and stuff. And so now they don't have, it's not like they just like lost 25 cents a week or whatever from these shows, that they're not getting a check in the mail anymore. It's that they are directly being impacted in form of their benefits that they are losing or are getting severely reduced, which fucking sucks.
Yeah. I don't understand the strategy. I mean, I guess it's a bit of a tax write-off.
Yes.
To some degree. Again, if they're just trying to save this money, I'm just shocked because, especially if something's mostly done, why not just finish it up? There's definitely something to be said to know when to cut your losses. Like, I think that's definitely important, but especially like the Batgirl film, it's like, wrap it up, man. Put it out there. Get something out of it, just to be like, nah.
I just don't get like, I've heard, this is just hearsay, or these are things that I've heard that these creators are saying, or that they've been told, is that the shows are potentially going to be put back up one day, or that they are definitely not going to be taken off pay-per-view like things like Amazon or iTunes, but they don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell you if that's true or not, because who knows, in a month's time, after more of this shit happens, you might not be able to buy Infinity Train on iTunes anymore. We just don't know, because it's their call at the end of the day if they want to take it off the platform or not. So it sucks. It just sucks for everybody. I don't know what else. I really don't know what else to fucking say about it. It just sucks. Like my heart hurts for these creators, just as, I guess I wouldn't say I'm in the industry, but as someone who is aware of the industry and has a passion like these people do, it fucking sucks to see that they are being treated this way.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't created a whole lot, but if I were to have an agreement with someone and they were just to be like, yep, and then one day they're like, nope, it's all gone. At the end of the day, you want what you create to be seen by people, and for it just to sort of disappear because someone has a plan to save $3 billion by the end of next year, and you are just kind of caught in that. I mean, Practical Doug would argue to some degree, I get it, right? Like, cuts have to be made. I've been in situations where I've been laid off. I've been in situations where I wasn't laid off and other people were, and I've looked at that as, hey, this is business. This has to happen. But at the same time, it just leaves a really bad taste in people's mouths. It's the same thing when Warner Brothers made that deal with HBO Max to basically be like, yeah, we're releasing all of our movies in 2021 on HBO Max, which me as a viewer was like, this is awesome. But for people like Christopher Nolan, who was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, we did not agree to this. Like, we're supposed to be in theaters. And they're like, tough shit. We're doing it for everything. It's like, people lose trust in that sort of situation. And honestly, this could lead to other pockets where artists collectively gather and find other ways to distribute that will buck the system until the system comes back and finds a way to clamp down and make money off of it. And this is a perpetual cycle where people find ways to get their stuff out there. But I think if there's one piece of silver lining, we have found that fandoms that are really strong and believe in their creators will find ways to fund that sort of stuff. And it sucks that it's the fans that have to do it. But if that's how the art gets made and it's allowed to be produced and consumed, then it's nice to know at least that option does exist.
I see Slotty has said Infinity Train versus Adventure Time. It's not exactly a fair comparison, but I will say that season 1 of Infinity Train is some of the best television of all time. The season 1 of Infinity Train stands out on its own as above Adventure Time. The rest of Infinity Train, it would be below. Like, it's still very, very good, but it does not peak into like all-time status. I'm not gonna like endorse anything bad or anything, but if you'd like a little just surprise, just a little fun gift regarding Infinity Train, you can go check out JJ PogChamp 69's Twitter. There's just a little something for there for everybody involving like a Google Drive folder. I don't know. Super crazy and strange, but
I love it.
I'm not endorsing anything or saying that anything is right or wrong when I say that.
That's fair. Well, I think it's that time to move on to the final segment of the show. And I think the only way to start that is by playing a theme song. So here we go.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
That's right. It feels weird doing this without Justin, but I'm glad it's you, Noah. Always glad
it's
you.
me too.
Yeah.
It's so rare to get a throwdown these days.
I know, right? It's
so
already
honored.
It's already that time again, which is great. So, in honor of your arrival, I've asked the Council of Elders who have responded, and I don't think I have a drum roll. So instead, I'll just do this.
We're showing some signs of being fucking wet.
So we've got Brigitte from Overwatch, possibly Overwatch 2, not confirmed, versus Flag-Smasher.
Who the fuck is Flag-Smasher?
Flag-Smasher apparently is from Marvel. And the description says, Brig has flags and a mace, and Flag-Smasher, well, smashes flags and has a mace. So...
Fair enough.
So
enough.
You know Brig pretty well.
I do know Brig pretty well.
I know
about
you're a
100
Brig
hours
main.
on the character would
so.
say that I know quite a bit about Brig.
Yeah.
She is my main in the game of Overwatch, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So fuck, what do we got to say about Brigitte Lindholm? She is a tier 9A.
Is that good or bad?
I believe that's quite weak, but it seems like maybe Flag-Smasher is around the same.
He's 9B.
I think 9B is better than 9A, but let's see what else we have.
Gotcha.
So she is a mechanical engineer and an adventurer who has superhuman physical characteristics, a skilled flail wielder. She has force field creation, healing, and statistics amplification with status effect inducement with shield bash. She has a stun move.
Skabow.
Her attack potency is small building level, should be comparable to Reinhardt, who's capable of harming characters like Roadhog and Junkrat, but regularly spars with Genji. Okay, cool, good lore.
Lord up.
Her speed is subsonic with hypersonic reaction. And her movement speed is higher with rally.
Obviously.
When her flag comes out. Her lifting strength is unknown. Her striking strength is small building class. Her durability is small building level. Can take hits from other heroes. Her armor should be as durable as Reinhardt's. Which Reinhardt can at least take bullets and being crushed by things and getting hit by big hammers and stuff. So there's that. She's extended melee range. Rocket flail, barrier shield, high intelligence, but weaknesses. If enough damage is done to her barrier, it will break.
There you go. Obviously. So she's like a little mini tank. She's suited up in armor.
A little mini tank.
She's got a shield that creates a barrier. She's got a little mace that can extend and hit people and smash and heal and make people move faster. So she's solid. I know when she was first launched, I think she was a pain in everyone's ass.
Strong. Because she can heal herself when she hits people.
There you go. All right, let's talk about old Flag-Smasher. Never heard of this guy. He looks interesting, to say the least.
Look interesting.
Karl Morgenthau, better known as Flag-Smasher, was the son of a wealthy Swiss banker turned diplomat. Due to his father's job, he often moved from country to country, feeling like a foreigner and an outcast. And at the age of 19, he tried to follow his father's footsteps by getting a degree in political science. Wow, riveting backstory. Unfortunately, after the death of his father, his goals changed to trying to eliminate the concept of nations itself.
Oh,
he's a globalist.
It's the fucking from the Flag-Smashers from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh,
that was the fucking the nationalist group of the fucking show. Okay, all right.
Right.
Very easy to put together things together. Like a fucking 100-piece puzzle.
Which in turn made him clash with various heroes, the most noteworthy of those being Captain America. Okay, now it's all making sense.
Making sense.
All right. So he's pretty powerful, superhuman physical characteristics. He got a black belt in karate at the age of 15. I just love that. It's like specials, martial arts in parentheses. Got a black belt in karate. He's an expert skier, apparently. Wow. He has a flying motorcycle and flying jet skis. Jesus. Gotta love these characters. Explosion manipulation, in parentheses, possesses explosives. That's a big difference when you say explosion manipulation. As in, I've got dynamite that I can light. I mean, I guess technically it is, right? You make it happen. Jesus. All right. Okay. He apparently is so powerful he can harm Moon Knight, whatever that means. He keeps up with Moon Knight and Captain America, so he's pretty quick. He's at least an athletic human as far as lifting strength goes. That's great. The guy can do deadlifts, apparently. Durability. It's like Moon Knight's is one call out. Durability, wall level, endured hits from Moon Knight. Okay.
Okay, so
he's above average. He was enrolled his intelligence above average. He was enrolled into Columbia University as a political major. A political major? A political major. Who wrote this? I think Brig's gonna beat this guy's ass.
So he definitely is kind of more outfitted with like skills and experience, because Brig is also fairly young, so she's 23 years old, and she just kind of grew up
at least 20, but we don't know how old he is.
That's true. He is at least 20 according to the wiki.
Yeah.
She just kind of grew up around heroes, and she grew up, and her dad's is Torbjorn, the turtle.
Torbjorn,
and has just has that experience as like an engineer. She's not necessarily a fighter, right?
Can we
So,
pause
like,
for a
it seems
second and just lament the fact that we don't have a Torbjorn short from Blizzard? That's some bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I think we will. I think we will get that.
We better fucking have it.
Him and Bastion are friends in Overwatch too.
That would make sense. That
So
would
we
make
might get
total
some.
sense.
We might get some lore there.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. He doesn't have one. I want to see him just like working on like the world's craziest dildo or something. You know, just full speed ahead, yeah.
We think the first PvE map is Torp's house. We've actually seen that. Yes, we one of the new levels we're getting is going to be Torb's like workshop.
There we go.
Which is very cool.
Like Torb's short where we see how Brig was conceived.
Fuck. Fucking back to your porn conversation we tried to avoid reading about.
Is Mercy her mother?
No.
Don't say that so dismissively.
No, she's not.
I reject your
But she
your
could
judgment.
be, and what I guess. Whoa, I don't know.
How dare you?
Anything could happen. But no, her striking, like she's just stronger than him.
Well, I think she's also got technology. I love it too. It's like, what's his range? Standard melee range, hundreds of meters with guns and other weapons. They were so lazy in this guy's fucking breakdown. It's not even.
I fucking love that.
I mean, okay, but we got to be honest here. Like, he can keep up with Moon Knight and Captain America. Like, I got to give him credit. Like, if he can keep up with them, that's no mean feat, you know?
So I think Moon Knight is kind of a dog shit character too.
Boy, I'm glad Wolf's not around to hear that.
No, you guys have already talked about that. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Well, because it says has hit Moon Knight or whatever, and it specifically cites Mark Spector Moon Knight Volume 1, Issue 9, which is like from, I don't know, 70 years ago, and it looks like he doesn't even hit Moon Knight. Moon Knight is clearly winning the fight in this comic
No,
panel.
it says he can harm Moon Knight. He can harm him.
He just, it's this comic panel it cites is just him getting his ass kicked for 6 pages. There's not anywhere in this where he hits it looks like he punches him at the same time that he gets punched.
Wow, he is just getting his ass beat wholesale, isn't he?
His ass fucking kicked. He can't harm Moon Knight. He maybe fucking hit Moon Knight and Moon Knight walked away fine. That's 5 more pages than you could last. That's true. That's just facts.
Jesus, he is. Gee, good God.
I think he has experience. Brig has just raw fucking strength.
Yeah.
Like, she just has the ability to.
She has technology at her. She's hyper intelligent. Like,
she can block bullets with her shield, which I would just like to make the comparison too. That these are like futuristic guns too.
Yeah.
These are like more powerful weapons that she's blocking with her magic fucking electricity barrier versus this guy's regular gun. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
She can block his bullets, get close, whip him with the fucking thing. She could stun him. I mean, I don't know. I think Brig could be Moon Knight. That's not the throwdown, but I think Brig could be Moon Knight too.
Yeah, I mean, based on the source material here, I was like, if he could, keep up, because the thing is, like, what's it say? It says that he can keeps up with Moon Knight and Captain America, but for how long? Like what? A 3-hit combo, and then his ass is just in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. She every time she makes contact with him, she gets stronger.
Yeah.
He could shoot her in the fucking cheek. She could shoot her in the face, but so long as she had hit him before he did that, she heals.
Yeah, her healing that by itself puts her over the edge. This has got to be Brig for the win. Hands down.
Let me Brig for the win!
Yeah.
Does he look like a bitch? What?
Yes.
Yes. I don't have all the cool stuff. There we go. Brig wins.
Got to. I like Flag-Smasher though. He kind of sucks.
He kind of sucks. No, I thought that was great. Thank you, Slotty, for putting that together.
So
I very much appreciate that. That was very fun to. I haven't done one of those in a while, so that felt really, really good. Thank you, sir. Woo! All right, let's talk about recommendations. Noah, what do you have to recommend this week?
Fuck. I thought long and hard about this because I haven't really consumed any new content lately, with the exception of this movie called Bullet Train. Bullet Train was a lot of fun. I saw it at the drive-in theater. I'd recommend that too. If you guys have a drive-in theater nearby, maybe go see Bullet Train and drive-in. That movie was a lot of fun. It was silly. It wasn't like super great. I mean, I thought I liked it. I liked the movie. It was a lot of fun. It was very funny, had some good moments. It really used color and music really, really well in a unique way. Like the cinematography was very, very good. And for it being like a one location movie, you get a lot of variety from it just being like you're just on the train the entire time. And all the cast is like fucking phenomenal. It's Brad Pitt. And he's very good. He's very funny in the movie. So I'd absolutely recommend Bullet Train if you can see it. It probably will be out on like DVD soon too, if you guys got like a red box nearby.
Nice. Good recommendation. I'm going to recommend once again The Sandman on Netflix because they released a bonus episode this past Friday, which I did not know they were going to do. And Justin and I had talked about how in the comic series, there's several volumes that basically are a collection of short stories that expand the universe but don't necessarily push the plot forward. And I was like, I think they'll probably those will just have to go by the wayside, which is unfortunate, but I understand. Well, they released a bonus episode that had 2 of those short stories in them. One of them was really well animated. It was a really cool animation, which I think was a smart way to go about it because it's about cats. And then the other one was a bonus episode about Calliope, which is a muse, and how that affects humans. And they were both phenomenal. And just one, I think it's great that they're doing this, and 2, because I'm a fan, and 2, it makes sense from Netflix's business model in that a lot of their stuff, they want it to be trending for as long as possible. So if they release it, it trends, and as maybe that interest starts to wane, they release a new episode, gets that interest back up again. Yeah, they could keep it going. Because I know Neil Gaiman has been pretty open that no one's announced a second season, so he's kind of peeved about that. He's like, I understand it takes a lot of money to make this, but I don't know, man. I'm horribly biased on that show, and I understand that. So I would love to see more of it told. I think they did a great job. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to finish it yet. I just haven't found myself watching a lot of TV lately. But I do want to finish it. I like the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I think it's a great show. Again, I welcome all discussion in our Discord channel. Come join the Comic Book Spoiler and tell me what you think. If if you haven't read the comics but have watched the show, I would love to get your reaction to it because, as I said before, I've read the comics. It's one of my favorite series of all time. It's one of the most where people are like, hey, do you have any comics? I would just shove this in people's face. I was like, take it, borrow it from me. Whatever you want, just read it. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was so well done. And it was really great to see that come to life. And I would love to see the next parts of this, because if they go the way that I think that they're going, this would be very interesting to see how they tell the story. So love the casting, love everything about it. It's so well done. So that's my recommendation.
I also never answered Zinni's question about what my favorite Pokemon is.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
At the end of the show, when Zenny is long gone to bed.
Yes.
We have Rockruff.
Rockruff.
This little fucking rock dog thing is very cute, very good, very fun. I like it a lot. So that's the fave Pokemon is the Lycanroc line.
Thanks for sticking with the plan. I appreciate that. Much respect. Much respect. Noah, I forgot to do this at the top of the show, but tell people where they can find you. If you didn't know, Noah's a streamer too. I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to really promote you right at the top of the show. Totally just bypassed it and forgot about it. But tell people where they can find you, man.
Yes, so you can find me on all platforms at Noah Reno, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, my YouTube channel, where I just released a short film as well as an animation of one of my streams from the Cult of the Lamb streams I did. as well as SoundCloud, where there's a bunch of fucking shitty, cringy music, but I've been putting music up on SoundCloud again. So if you're interested in that kind of shit, you can go check that out too.
Nice.
Also.
I highly recommend Noah's stream. I always enjoy tuning in, just seeing what you're up to. You're very fun to watch. You're very engaging. And also, Noah does really great visual effects as well. So if you're looking for someone, if you're like, hey, I need help with editing stuff and whatever and doing some visual work, please reach out to Noah. His submissions are open.
NoahReno.com for any inquiries.
Yes, he helped me for a while with the shorts, which was really, really cool. So I can vouch for his work. He does good work. So go check him out. And don't forget to check out Mind Gap on all our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mind Gap Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening to us on the audio formats, thank you as well. Be sure to review and rate wherever you hear that, especially on all your Spotify's, your Apple Podcast, and Good Pods as well. Is a new app I've been using lately under the Mind Gap moniker, just so you can see what I listen to, but also, it's kind of like Facebook for podcasts. You can see a bunch of what people are listening to. You can rate and review everything. It's really fun. It's a great place to check us out. Follow us on all that sort of stuff. Come check out our Discord. Hang out with the cool people of the Mind Gap community. Check out our merch and our Patreon. Links in the description down below. And don't forget to check out the Minecraft video game live stream on Saturday, 8 p.m. Central. I can't wait. Noah will be there.
I can't wait.
Slotty will be there. Zinni will be there. Tint will be there. And possibly more. So it's going to be a dandy time. Come check us out then. But, With that being said, Noah, thank you so much for stepping in for Justin. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Absolutely. And thank you, Doug, for hosting the show.
Oh, you're welcome. So until next time, I'll say, Noah, thank you.
Doug, thank you.
Chat, thank you. It's okay. Listeners, thank you too. And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.